muscles of the superficial chest. Right, so these are going to be 4 muscles that you're going to want to identify here, or at least be aware of. The first one is the pectoralis antebrachialis, right? Only found in cats, not found in humans. So we're not really going to be too concerned about this muscle as far as identifying on the practical. Then we have the pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, and the xiphohumerales. And this is another muscle you only find in cats, so we're not too concerned with it. So our major muscles that we really want to know here, pectoralis major and pectoralis minor. Remember, as far as the pectoralis major, it's going to allow you to immediately rotate that humerus, right, and bring it towards the midline. Moving down from there, you get into the abdomen. In the abdomen, you're going to have 4 muscles that you're going to want to find or identify. The first one, and you want to pay attention to the fibers here as well, is the external oblique. External oblique. So that's that guy there. As we go deep to the external oblique, you have your internal obliques. So that's 2. And the third muscle here is going to be this long band-like muscle, the rectus abdominis. Rectus abdominis. And then finally the 4th muscle, the transverse abdominis, which is the essentially the body wall now, the abdominal wall. Deep to this is the viscera. So external oblique, internal oblique, rectus abdominis, transverse abdominis. As we move down from there, we get to the thigh. So in the superficial muscles of the thigh, initially you would just encounter the sartorius and the gracilis. Sartorius and gracilis. Now note that in humans, the sartorius and gracilis are not as wide. They are thinner, thick band-like muscles. Thinner, thick bands. They're thin bands, right, that are going to run down the same direction, but not as wide.
Okay.
So this is the sartorius, and here's the gracilis. So if we reflect those muscles, deep to that, you're going to see the tensor fasciolata muscle. Right, and this is the muscle that is attached, or that contains the iliotibial tract, that thick aponeurosis here. The other muscles, deep muscles that we're seeing here now are going to be the quadriceps group. You have your vastus lateralis, the rectus femoris, the vastus medialis, and deep to the rectus femoris, you would have the vastus intermedius, which I can't seem to get to right now, but it would be deep. Right? Remember, the action of this is going to be to extend the knee. The main actions is to extend the knee as well as flex the hip. But always think about the knee first. That's what I want you to remember. So those are the quadriceps. If we go to the medial aspect of the thigh, you're going to see the first 2 muscles here. They actually belong to the hamstring muscles of the posterior thigh, so we're not going to name them yet. Actually, just for you guys to know them, here's the semitendinosus, and this one is the semimembranosus. Again, part of the hamstring group, the dorsal. So the adductors then are going to be these muscles, starting with the large adductor femoris, this whole muscle here, followed by the adductor longus, and then you have the pectineus. So pectineus, adductor longus, adductor femoris. And in humans, the adductor femoris is not present. We have instead the adductor magnus. The last muscle here would be a very deep muscle. Right there, you can kind of hopefully see it right where the probe is. That's going to be the iliopsoas. Iliopsoas. So iliopsoas, pectineus, adductor longus, adductor femoris, semimembranosus, semitendinosus. Let's move down to the crural region. You see the tibialis anterior, which is going to allow you to dorsiflex the foot. And as we go to the dorsal aspect, you now see the gastrocnemius. Deep to the gastrocnemius on this dorsal aspect, you see the soleus. And deep to the gastrocnemius on the ventral side, we have the plantaris visible. So plantaris, gastrocnemius, tibialis anterior, soleus, gastrocnemius. And those are the ones we're concerned with here. Now we might start making our way back up towards the caudal end, and here again we see the semi-tendinosus, semi-membranosus behind it, that there, and then the biceps femoris. And these then make up the hamstring group, which is going to allow you to flex the knee.
Okay.
Continuing in this direction, you have your caudofemoralis, which is also only found on cats, not humans. Then the gluteus maximus, and then the gluteus medius. Continue to move cranially. We have the latissimus dorsi. And then we'll get into the trapezius and deltoids. So as far as the trapezius muscles, you're going to have your clavotrapezius, acromiotrapezius, and spinal trapezius. And you can see that I'm under the spinal trapezius here. For the deltoids, you have the clavodeltoid, the acromiodeltoid slightly deep to that, and the spinal deltoid here. And then kind of separating the two, you have the levator scapulae ventralis. So clavotrapezius, acromiotrapezius, spinal trapezius, clavodeltoid, acromiodeltoid, spinal deltoid, levator scapulae ventralis.
Okay.
If we reflect this, we can see the supraspinatus. Supraspinatus there. We could see the rhomboideus majors and minors, or slightly deeper to this. You also see the rhomboideus capitis and the splenius, the muscle deep to the rhomboideus capitis. So those are the major muscles you need to identify here.
Okay.
As we move towards the brachium, on this dorsal side, the visible muscles are going to be the lateral head of the triceps, just this muscle here, the long head of the tricep, the brachioradialis, and the brachialis, just deep to that. So here's the brachialis, here's the rest of the brachialis. This is the radial nerve here. So brachialis, brachioradialis. And again up here you have your clavodeltoid.
Okay.
Come back to this side. We're going to look at the deep chest. This is where you have the serratus ventralis muscles. And then the scalenus muscles. Also from this view you can see the subscapularis. So this is the underside of the scapula. The infraspinatus, okay, where the probe is pointing to.
Okay.
And then if you kind of hold this guy sideways like this, where the infraspinatus is, right at this border, you actually have the teres major and the rhomboideus major going up towards the back. So infraspinatus, teres major, rhomboideus major. Now for the muscles of the neck, since they're right here, you have your digastric muscles, which are going to allow you to open the mouth. The mylohyoid, which is going to function as the floor of the mouth. The sternohyoids, these two band-like muscles. The sternomastoids, which in humans this will translate to the sternocleidomastoid. Right. In this case, bilateral contraction allows you to flex the neck. Unilateral contraction allows you to rotate the head. The last large muscle here is the masseter muscle, which is going to allow you to close the mouth during chewing, along with the temporalis, which is not visible here. If we move to the arm, or the brachium, where do we, you guys did this side, right?
Yeah.
So on this side, we'll have the epitrochlearis, which is kind of still intact here. You see this muscle that I'm just deep to? This is that epitrochlearis. So we're going to reflect the muscle. We have a scissors, scalpel one. Thank you very much. We reflected the epitrochlearis. This epitrochlearis is not present in humans, so I'm concerned with it. As we go deep to that, though, you're going to see the brachial arteries and veins, some of the nerves from the brachial plexus, The muscles we're concerned with here, the biceps brachii, obviously for elbow flexion. Deep to the vessels here, you're going to see the medial head of the triceps muscle. So right there, that would be the medial head of the triceps brachii. And then you see the long head of the triceps brachii. The long head will wrap all the way around until you see the lateral head. Okay. So lateral, long, medial head of the triceps brachii. And then here's your biceps brachii. As far as the forearms, on the ventral aspect, we're going to include the brachioradialis here. So you would have the brachioradialis, and then you would have the pronator teres. Remember, the pro bends just like the pronator teres does. So that would be the pronator teres. The flexor carpi radialis, right, that guy there. The palmaris longus, and then the flexor carpi ulnaris. Right there. So flexor carpi ulnaris, palmaris longus, flexor carpi radialis, pronator teres, brachioradialis. For the dorsal forearm, again you have your brachioradialis, and then from there you might come in at this angle. You have the extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis, the extensor digitorum communis, this guy here, the extensor digitorum lateralis, and then the extensor carpi ulnaris. So one, if you're counting the brachioradialis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 muscles. Now, difference with the humans, instead of having extensor digitorum communis and lateralis, we would have the extensor digitorum and then the extensor digiti minimi. And then some adductors. I think that's it.
That's it?